Hello students, welcome back to my geography class. Today we are going to learn a new topic, the Peninsular Plateau, which is the remaining part of the second chapter of class 9th geography. So let us begin the topic. First of all, we will learn the meaning of plateaus. Actually, plateaus are elevated tableland. They are high but flat on top. They are composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks. It was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land and thus making it a part of the oldest landmass. Actually, the entire details of the Gondwana land and how it is the oldest landmass of India you can get in the second part of the same chapter, Physical Features of India. So discuss the next thing. The plateau is triangular in shape with a broad base in the north and narrow apex in the south. See here, the northern part is very broad while the southern part is narrow. The plateau has broad and shallow valleys and rounded hills. This plateau consists of two broad divisions demarcated by the river Narmada, namely the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. You can see here, this is Narmada river and the northern part of Narmada river is known as Central Highland, while the southern part is known as Deccan Plateau. So one by one we will get more details of the Central Highlands and as well as the Deccan Plateau. So let us begin with the Central Highlands. The part of the Peninsular Plateau lying to the north of the Narmada river, covering a major area of Malwa Plateaus, is known as Central Highland. See here, this is Narmada river and north of this river, this part is known as Central Highland, and a large area of this plateau is covered by Malwa Plateau. It is bounded by Aravalli Range in the northwest. See here, this is Aravalli Range and it is further surrounded by Vindhya Range in south. One more thing you need to know about Aravalli Range, that it is one of the oldest mountain ranges in the world. In the east of this plateau, there is Chota Nagpur Plateau. The Malwa Plateau is drained by a number of rivers like Chambal, Sindh, Son, Ken and Damodar. The flow of these rivers draining in this region is from southwest, means from this region, this side, to northeast. Now the Central Highlands are wider in the west but narrower in the east. You can clearly see here the western part is very broad and the eastern part is narrow. The eastward extension of these plateaus are locally known as Bundelkhand, Baghelkhand and Chota Nagpur Plateau actually marks the further extension, eastward extension drained by the Damodar river. So this was all about the Central Highlands. Now let us discuss another part, that is the Deccan Plateau. As you see, it is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the Narmada river. See here, this is Narmada river and south of this river another plateau lies and it has triangular in shape. The Satpura range lies north of this plateaus and it has also Mahadev Hills, Camor Hills and Maikal ranges in the eastern extension like this side. The Deccan Plateau is higher in west and slopes gently eastwards. It means the western part of this plateau is higher than eastern side. One more thing you should know, that this plateau is also bounded by Western Ghat. This is Western Ghat and this is Eastern Ghat. So now we are going to learn more details of Eastern and Western Ghat. First of all, you should know what is Ghat. Here, Ghat does not mean the bank of a river, but here Ghats refer to mountains. And which types of mountains? So here, see here, this is Western Ghat, and it is said that Western Ghats are a continuous chain of high hills, while the Eastern Ghat is a discontinuous chain of low hills. The second thing that you should know about Western Ghat is its height. If we talk about the average height of Western Ghat, so it is between 900 meter and 1600 meter, and the highest peak of this Western Ghat is known as Anaimodi, which is located in Kerala. Now talk about the height of the Eastern Ghat. So the average height of the Eastern Ghat is 600 meter, and the highest peak of this range is Mahendragiri, which is located in Orissa here. Now Western Ghat has a number of passes, and these passes are known as Thal Ghat, Bhor Ghat, Pal Ghat, while the Eastern Ghat does not have passes but wide gaps through which rivers flows. And if I talk about the rivers of Western Ghat, so Narmada, Tapi, Sabarmati, Mahi, these are important rivers of the Western Ghat, while the Eastern Ghat have the rivers like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. One more thing that you need to know about the Western Ghat is orographic rain. What is orographic rain? So you can understand in this way, as I said that Western Ghats are mountains. So the moisture laden winds mainly come from the Arabian Sea, okay, and then it's comes in the form of heavy rainfall to the western part of the Western Ghat. It means that these moisture laden winds are not able to cross this Western Ghat, and because of that it shed its moisture towards the western part of the Western Ghat, and that this region is called land windward side. So this is mainly known as orographic rain. And after that, what happens when the cloud or the wind shed the moisture, then it travel to the eastern part of the Western Ghat, and then little rainfall occurs towards the eastern side of the Western Ghat. So I hope that it is clear, the term orographic rain. Now let us move to the next topic. So in this way we have actually completed the topic, the Peninsula Plateau. Our next topic is the Indian desert. So let us discuss this topic here. First of all, you should know that the Indian desert or the Great Indian Desert is also known as Thar Desert, and where it is located, it lies towards the western boundary of the Rajasthan, and some parts, it also covers some parts of Punjab and Gujarat. Now after location of the Indian desert. The second thing that is soil. So the land is sandy. It means the entire desert covers with sand dunes and has sandy lands. The third thing of the Indian desert is rainfall. It receives extremely low rainfall, or better I say that below 150 millimeter rainfall per year is recorded here. The climate of this area is very arid, means very dry, and because of that very low vegetation is found in this region. There is only one river, that is known as Luni, and during rainy season some streams can be seen, but they disappear in this desert. And the last point of this desert is birchens. What is birchens? Actually, it is a type of sand dunes, and in another word I can say that it is a crescent shaped dunes. And what is crescent? Crescent means new moon shape. So new moon shape, sand dunes are generally prominent in this region, especially at the border of India and Pakistan. And some longitudinal dunes are also found. These longitudinal dunes lying parallel to the prevailing wind direction. So in this way we got the details of the Indian desert known as Thar desert.